Hello again, word lovers, and we near the end of our journey through interesting etymologies, or at least etymologies that appeared interesting to me. There's been some rhyme and some reason, but more or less just dipping in to the vast treasure trove of words, which is the English language. In the last two instalments, I'll take a quite general view to wrap up the series. But before we leave the British Isles, we must travel to Scotland. We've been to Wales and we've been to Ireland, but now we're going to the country that gives us our highest mountain peak, Ben Nevis. Ben, we've probably seen before. It's Gaelic for mountain, also head. Pen in Welsh. Nevis seems to have come from an old word neam, meaning heaven, which survives in later Gaelic as shining, but it could also have derived from Bain Neam Bathais, which would mean heavens again, top of a man's head. So that would give us the mountain with its head in the clouds. In any case, there seems to be some connection with heaven, but you can see already the difficulties we might have in tracing these words back. Cleverer people than me have got this back to Pictish, from a Celtic root neb, meaning clouds. Nev in Welsh. However, the Celtic root neb does awfully remind me of niebo in Russian, which is cloud, and nube, which is Spanish, from Latin. So exactly where the root of that word lies, I couldn't say. But let's go. Typically Scottish words in the English language. As usual, a type of topography, in this case it's the glen, meaning a valley, and which can be seen in many Scottish place names. The word bard for poet is claimed to be Scottish rather than Welsh. Sporran, seeming essentially Scottish, is apparently from Old Irish sporran, taken from bursa, the purse in Latin. How about spunk? Again taken from early Irish, but soaked up, as that's what it means, a sponge, by the Scots. Well, cairn has to be Scottish, capercaillie, and trousers, still known as trews today in Scotland. Some of the etymologies will be disputed by the Welsh and the Irish, but they will all agree that I am a Sassenach, which means a Saxon, the Scottish word for the English, or in Welsh, the Saesnach Teufel, if I remember right. Plaid, the material, is from a Scottish word for blanket. Possibly the past participle of to ply, meaning to fold, a folded thing. Ptarmigan comes pleasingly from a Scottish word, as does pillion, the back part of a stagecoach, or in these days a motorbike. We saw in the Irish diminutive arenes, colleens, smithereens, etc. We have a Scottish diminutive here, the smidgen, meaning a small part. That diminutive appears to be Scottish. The ingle. The old English bars would always have an ingle nook. The ingle was the fireplace, originally meaning simply fire. And as with Welsh and Irish, surprisingly few Scottish words in use in modern English. I'm sure there are more of that ilk, and maybe that's one as well. But in more modern times, we can look to Charles Mackintosh, who invented the Macintosh. Not the Mac, though it's also called the Mac, but the raincoat. Macintosh itself meaning son of the chief. The point at the fairy hill in Scots Gaelic would give us Sronensithen, or something similar, and this is the name of a village where strontium was discovered. Golf is a Scottish game of unknown etymology, and curling also. And the list of Scottish inventions would go on for hours. James Watt perhaps being one of the most famous for his steam engine improvements, and even tarmac, which is a shortening of tar macadam. Macadam being a type of road construction invented by John Loudon Macadam. Though what we call tarmac, the abbreviation today, is in fact asphalt, and indeed was an improvement on the original made by a Welshman walking through England. Asphalt itself is directly from the Greek, meaning asphalt or bitumen, And that branches back to competing etymologies along the route to pi. So we'll leave it there for the sake of Auld Lang Syne.